We are talking about the future of the Hamilton-Oshawa Port Authority with the head of HOPA Ports, Ian Hamilton. I think back to 40 years ago when I first came to Hamilton, the port was so much different than it is now. Talk about that transition.
Yeah, certainly over the last decade anyways, there's been close to $750 million invested in our assets, which has allowed us to branch into new commodity classes, particularly around agriculture. But it's been a real illustration of how a network of people can come together and industries can come together to achieve a common goal.
And it's even that ripple effect from outside of the port area where, you know, because you're bringing in flour, because you're bringing in sugar, it means that bakeries and other commercial entities, factories can sprout up.
Yeah, and in Hamilton alone, the $4 billion worth of cargo that comes in actually supports 38,000 jobs in the province.
Amazing. Where do you see HOPA in the next 5 years?
So we really like to use HOPA to try to further some of Canada's agenda in addressing some of the supply chain challenges we're faced with, reducing congestion on the highways, and also helping to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions. The way we want to do that is take advantage of the capacity available in the waterways and start to take trucks off the road and start to move that material around by vessel instead.
Right, but then you've got that fine balance too, right? You don't want the waterways to be too crowded because then you get in pollution, the possibilities of spills.
Yeah, there's certainly a risk, but we saw earlier today, but I would really applaud the ship owners because they've done a great deal to reduce greenhouse gas emissions on their vessels. They've also, we're developing new projects so that we can fuel vessels with LNG and biodiesel until we get to a time when we can go to a completely green vessel. So the risk is a lot lower than it was 40 years ago for an environmental impact from the ships.
And LNG, that's liquefied natural gas?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, all right. One thing that really struck me here is that we're seeing a lot of bulk goods come to and fro, not a lot of containers, which when you think of the Port of Montreal, Port of Vancouver, lots of containers there. How do you make that switch, or do you make that switch?
Yeah, we're working on a number of projects with a number of different partners, particularly around partnering with the Port of Montreal to start to move the containers. They will come in by the mother vessel there, discharge there, and then loaded onto ships to come into Hamilton. We're looking at that opportunity. We're also looking at a rail transload facility where we would support CN and the congestion they're experiencing in their current yards in Brampton and have those containers come directly here. So there's a number of different initiatives.
And having a container shipyard here in addition to the bulk, how would that change the economy?
Yeah, the commodities that we carry now are very much the building blocks of our materials. The containers that would be coming in would be very much around more finished goods, and it would create a whole bunch of distribution opportunities. It certainly creates a much better alliance with the airport and what they're doing in terms of the distribution centers that they're creating there and their fulfillment centers that they've got there. So we would support the Amazons and the IKEAs of the world as they develop new facilities here in Hamilton.
And you're also, we got about 90 seconds left, you're also digitizing the port. What's that all about?
Well, I think unfortunately Canada is probably a little bit further behind some of our other competitors, particularly the United States, and we need to better understand how cargo flows today in order for us to create better supply chain solutions. And we think using data and digitization is going to be the way that we can do that. So we're investing heavily into that area. The digitization also helps us to find better sustainable ways. How do we reduce the idle times for trucks? How do we maximize the use of trucks and minimize the empty trucks that are moving around? All of that can be achieved through better understanding of the actual data.
So does that mean that you'll know more precisely when a ship is going to be here, how long it's going to be here, so the trucks know and the rail cars know?
Yeah, the ships certainly, and that's only one part of the puzzle, but also it's understanding the real flow of the goods, right from how is it leaving a European origin point and where is it finally being destined to in Hamilton, Niagara region, and how can we make that the most efficient supply chain possible? So that's the kind of data we need to understand, the whole fulsome picture.
Okay, and better for your customers too, to know where that flour shipment is or that sugar shipment is.
Yep, and hopefully it reduces cost, builds more reliability inside of the supply chains and makes them more sustainable, and hopefully has the added impact of supporting Canada, and we don't have the same crisis we did during the coming out of the COVID years where we were really stuck.
Right. Okay, thanks, Ian. You have been fantastic hosts. We've learned so much. It's been a fascinating morning, and I hope we get to come back. You let us come back?
I hope you come back too. Because,
Okay.
And I'm really great to share our story with the Hamilton and Niagara communities.
Okay, thanks very much.